Alright. So some say ignorance is bliss, but I completely disagree with this statement. Ignorant people attract ignorant people and they lead each other down a dark road. Ignorance keeps you small, it doesn't help you evolve, and it doesn't help you to grow into the person that you're meant to be. So that's why I totally agree with this quote from the Bible that states, "If the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch." I'm going to give you two examples, one that my meditation teacher used to talk to us about, and two about me and my best friend growing up and how we were both very ignorant and always led each other into a ditch. So to start off, my meditation teacher would always tell us this story about walking down a road, you see a ditch, you fall into the ditch. You walk down that same road again, you see the ditch, and you trip and fall into the ditch. And eventually you walk down that road and you see the ditch, and then you kind of walk around the ditch. So you've grown out of your ignorance. And this just reminds me of the group of people I used to meditate with and do yoga with, and how we were sort of waking up out of our ignorance, and we would guide each other around that ditch eventually. So being around people who weren't ignorant and waking up out of ignorance helped us to stop falling into that same ditch or that same unhealthy pattern. My best friend and I growing up, we were really big troublemakers. And we did a lot of bad things together, like maybe we broke into some stores and stole some stuff, and we would sneak out of the house at night, walk around and smoke cigarettes and things like that. And then eventually we decided, oh, we're going to practice yoga together. And we started to come out of that ignorance, and we started to help each other and lead each other down a path of wisdom and away from ignorance. So, in conclusion, I agree with the statement that if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch, because unless we choose to surround ourselves with people or ideas that are a little different, that are less ignorant and more wise, we will continue to fall into that same ditch. Thank you.
You left your quote on the desk.
Oh, do you need the quote?
No,
No, you need the quote.
Oh.
he wants you to
Put it on
carry
your
it with
fridge.
you. It
Carry
becomes
it
your
with me for
mantra
the
for
rest
the
of my
day.
life.
Yeah.
Who is the home?
What?
Ellie had to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't as
It wasn't
bad.
as bad as you
Yeah,
thought
it wasn't
was
as
gonna
bad
be.
as, yeah, it wasn't as bad, but like, those were like,
That's the thing that's left you.
Yeah, it might be really bad. He's just like,
it's alright. I love that the quote's just the Bible.
I guess we'll use that one.
Well, the quote that you have is kind of abstract enough that you can apply almost anything, and so you use another old aphorism to kind of, use to get the audience's attention and tie it in. It worked pretty well. There's a good preview of what the content is, so there's a structure that we're going to be able to follow. You tell stories on both of those points that are pretty straightforward and easy. It does seem like I'm wondering why, if you fell in the ditch once, why it would ever happen a second time. That story with the yoga instructors telling them, going, how stupid are you? Didn't you know the ditch was there after the first time you fell in it? You'd think you would have walked around. But if you do it 2 or 3 times, yeah, I guess the idea, though, of growing, that you learn from your experience and that you move out of your ignorance and move past that. I like that idea. The illustration is okay, but I think there are probably other ways that you could develop that a little bit more. There's a little bit more intriguing personal detail in the second example, and I like that, but it does seem like you grow out of that. Well, first we were naughty kids, and then we found yoga, and it was done. And it was like, really? It was that quick? It was like one day, yoga came and fixed everything, and you weren't that way anymore? I'm going, that just seems like it's a little bit of a contrivance, and probably we're missing some of the details that would make the story relevant, although the details that you gave us made the speech kind of interesting, and I appreciated that. Delivery things, I think your facial expressions are actually pretty animated and engaged. Your eye contact's a little inconsistent. You do look up at us pretty regularly, but a lot of times the gaze turns into an averted gaze. So you look up at us, and then it kind of goes off to the side. You kind of, you're still looking up and kind of looking out, but your eyes are drifting off into the other directions. And so it's not that it's entirely disengaging, but it is sometimes disengaging. And you want to be a little bit more consistent. That's all. It's a consistency thing that you're dealing with there. And your gestures are fine. The mechanics are good. So I think things are solid there. One or two little things to work on. All right. Thank you.